Welcome back to Voice of the Founding Fathers, and I'm your host, Dr. D. Lee Pippin. And today, we're going to talk about financing, our finances, and the economy. As everyone knows, loans are becoming easier, they're being promoted out, we're talking about inflation, we're talking about depressions, everything's been thrown in the mix. But what's not being talked about very much is we're going back to some very old practices that got us into the big financial collapse of 2008. You have institutions now doing stated income loans. You have banks agreeing to finance houses that are being sold for 200% above market. And everyone says, oh, this is so great for the economy. Look how we're growing. Well, let me remind you, those were the same words that were being said in 2005, 6, and 7, leading up to the great crash of 2008, which was the equivalent, and some say even worse, than the stock market crash of 1929. And if we have another incident, which could well be within the next couple of years, because there's a lot of things that were done to fix 2008 that are still being paid for today and are coming due from government and etc., that we could have the same event happen in 2023 or 2024 if we don't start becoming responsible. We don't put some brakes on. I know we are a capitalistic country. I'm a capitalist myself, but there's a difference between being a capitalist and just being a greedy tyrant. There are people that are looking for as much as they can get, as fast as they can get, and they don't care about the damages they're going to cause. They don't care if their own children are going to end up on the streets later, as long as they made their fortune today. And that can become a reality. So most of us are old enough to remember what happened in 2008 and how very few people went unscathed. And a lot of people lost everything they had. Now, you've just gone through COVID and being locked down, and that affected a lot of economies. And we're just starting to come out from that. But let's remember, coming out is a slow process. Growth should be slow and measured, because if it's not, then you turn around and create an offset that will lead to another financial catastrophe. So when you think you're going to make that huge, big fortune and you're just going out there and you're going on the same boat everyone else is doing it, just remember, what you reap, so you shall sow. And it will come back and it will haunt you. And what you thought were great profits now can be gone like that tomorrow. Because when the economy drops, the dollar drops, your spending power drops. And that's if we only go into a recession. If we go into a full-on depression, start losing your houses, your cars. You start being unable to pay for any food. We need to become intelligent. We need to use the brain that was given to us by God and that we've been trying to educate people in our schools for centuries. Think before one acts. Consider all the repercussions of your actions. Every action you should do that with, but specifically ones that are going to have a financial impact on you now and later. I'm not saying don't make a profit. I believe in profits. But there's a difference between making a profit and gouging people. Our petroleum companies are famous for that. They've done that several times. Then they get caught at it and say, oh, we're sorry. Or just recently, Tico in the Florida area got caught for helping to rig elections to keep politicians in that give them what they want. And we're seeing that now because we just had a rate increase and one of my office suites went from 200 and something a month to 400 and something a month without any additional usage. And they're asking for another increase already. And there are people that are already talking about that they can't afford their electric bills now because they're not being paid enough to cover all these increases. So at that point in time, people are going to start defaulting on everything. And as I just pointed out, that will start leading to recession. Then you'll start having bank closures. Not foreclosures on their property. No, the banks themselves will start to be closing because they won't be able to repay the money to their own clients that they use to do those loans. And they won't be able to liquidate the properties they gave the loans for or other assets they've given loans on because it's not worth it anymore. So that $3 million loan they gave out that sounded so great today is now on a property worth $400,000 tomorrow. And I'm not joking on those numbers because there were penthouses that sold for $2.5 million in 2006 and 7 that became valued at $485,000 in 2008 and 9. That's a reality. Stop living in a fantasy. Again, stop buying the hypes that are being sold to you and start looking for the actual truths. Do your research. Look into what's actually going on in the economy and stop blaming politicians on either side. The economy is controlled by more than the politicians. The politicians really have almost no control over what the economy does. The people do. Now the people react. Because remember, it's your money that creates the gross national products. It's your money and efforts that create the nation. They're only little figureheads, puppets that say things back and forth, and they have small impacts. But the total impact is on you. You're the one that has control, and you're the one that needs to exert your control. Exert your control. Take control of your life, and others will take control of theirs, and the world will change in a positive manner. That's my opinion. What's yours? Have a great day. Again, remember to subscribe, hit the button for notifications, and hit the like button at the bottom, and we'll see you again soon. Have a great day.